everyone, I'm Colleen. Welcome to Conversations from Beyond, episode 9. We have a whole lineup of universal beings of light who've been joining us as our guests and bringing in messages for you. Like mind-blowing messages have been coming in the last videos about the universe and how it works and where we all come from and things we can expect in the future. And it's prompted some great conversations, both in the videos and the comments. You can get in on the conversation by dropping your thoughts in the comments, or if you have questions that you'd like us to work into future videos. We don't know in advance who the guest is going to be or what we're going to be talking about. It's a surprise every time. So I will pass things over to you, Cindy, so we can see who our guest is and what we're going to be talking about.
Okay, thank you, Colleen. So yes, Cindy here, hi. And I also have another channel where I'm Lady of the Forest 444, and I give angel messages about our awakening process. But here we talk to beings of light from around the universe. And I'm curious to see who's going to come in today and what they're going to say. I'm going to light my candle, set the that one broke. Okay. I'm going to set the energy and call in my angels and the light beings.
Take some notes.
Right. Okay, my glasses on. And I will tilt this down so you can see a little bit. So I use my pendulum and an alphabet mat to help me focus on the message word for word as it comes in. So I'll tilt this down so you can see a little bit of what's happening. Okay. So the pendulum is perfectly still. So this tells me that it's not my angels that are here, but a being of light. This is a being of light from a home you are unaware of as of yet. Ooh, a new one. In my home, we are new and growing souls. In my home, we are the souls who are in training to make a difference within the universe. Every soul is born to a home where all souls are born. And that was shared in your last message. This home is my home. And we are going to give you more information about this home. I said you are unaware of this home because you truly are unaware of this home. However, today's message will bring you a greater awareness. Okay, now I have a question. I want to know if this is the same being that we spoke to last time. No. Okay. You spoke to Jesus last time. And this is now the being that will reincarnate from this home this year. So we have a lot to discuss. I am a being of light who has been around since the beginning of all that is. I am the half soul of the soul you know as Jesus. I have been incarnated on earth many times, and I have been the guiding angel of Jesus throughout every incarnation that soul has experienced. I am about to explain some mind-blowing things, and you will be in a state of wonder with these messages. I am from this home where all souls are born. So all souls are from this home. All souls are source energy. All souls are God energy. All souls are in the process of growing and learning. In that regard, all souls are at a different stage in their growth. I have been around since the beginning of all that is. And Jesus was the first spark of energy from all that is. And I was the first spark of energy from Jesus, along with another soul. Jesus has two half souls. Every other soul in all that is has one half soul. All souls are twins. But Jesus is a triplet soul. Thus, we have the incarnation of Jesus and the whole idea of the now I know what they're trying to say, but I forget what it is. What do you which people are going to think is incredible, but I'm not a religious person. What do you call that?
I think I don't think that's crazy, but we know that I. Are you thinking of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost?
Yeah, but what do you, the Trinity, that's it, the Holy
The
Trinity.
Holy Trinity. Like, that's what I'm typing away here. But again, once again, I want to be like, oh my goodness. And also, I know that what you're alluding to, like, I come from religious, when I was a kid, and Cindy doesn't. And so
No.
I know what's coming up here. Like, I just know where this is, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
Like, shaping up into it. I'm typing, thinking, I don't know if Cindy does, because she just
No,
doesn't
I know, and I
have that
don't
same
know the
Okay.
word. Also, I'm in my 50s, so I forget words. And so I'll
Yeah,
know,
yeah. Well, I
I
forgot
know what they
Trinity.
want to say, but my brain can't find the word.
Well, I forgot Trinity. It's just that I was like, that's where the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost came from. Like, you know how
Yes.
we make things into stories that are.
Yes.
But
Okay.
okay, sorry, you weren't even. Were they done for now?
No, they're not done. I
Okay.
just couldn't remember the word, and I was like,
New
and
camera.
because they wanted to say it earlier, but like when they said Jesus is a triplet soul, I knew that they wanted
Yeah,
to say that word, and I was like, oh my goodness, what do you call that? I forget what that's called. Oh my
I
goodness.
can't believe we're talking to the being that's going to reincarnate this year. Okay,
I know.
sorry, I'll
What?
stop talking. We're going to talk in a minute, folks. When she finishes getting this part of the message, we're going to like
I know
we're
it's already
chat about the
mind-blowing.
message, see if we come up with any questions that we would like to ask our guest. But anyway, I have to stop talking and let you finish getting
Okay.
the message. Okay, go.
So, and thus we have the incarnation of Jesus and the whole idea of
Of
the,
the
yeah, the whole idea of the Holy Trinity. Thank you, Colleen. They actually said, thank you, Colleen.
You're welcome.
Yeah. You are going to have a mind-blowing experience with this message, as I am going to reveal some information about Jesus and who he is, and what really happened when he incarnated as Jesus. So we have the Jesus soul, and he has two half souls, and each of those half souls created a soul with two half souls, and each of those created a soul with two half souls. And this continued and still continues now. New souls are being born all the time. So I am now at the home where souls are born because I am about to incarnate from this home and bring a love energy bridge to Earth from this home that is the birthplace of Source. In a very short time, I will incarnate on Earth. And when I am born, the mass awakening will occur. When I am born on Earth, I will be able to open a portal of love energy to the home of Source energy. This is where all souls are born. And this is the stem cell energy of all that is. When this energy begins to flow to Earth, unrestricted, things are going to change drastically and quickly. So, back to Jesus. Jesus is the first spark of energy from Source energy. Source energy is the void. Source energy is a potential energy, and it holds the potentials of of all that is, but in a different way from the home of the potential energies of the universe. Source is an all-encompassing void energy where all potentials exist for all that is. However, these potentials exist in a void, so they are not yet created in the same way that potentials in the home of potentials are already created and energized. The potentials in source are not yet energized. This is a difficult concept to understand. However, I think you have a beginning grasp on what I mean. This potential energy of source has a special ability to create anything with just a thought. This is what caused the first spark of energy to fly brightly across the void. This first spark of energy was the Jesus soul. The Jesus soul is the first thought that came from source energy. Then the Jesus soul created another soul and another soul. Then those souls created souls, and so on and so forth. This is your universe. Everyone on earth comes from this universe. Now, people are wondering if there is another spark of energy from the source energy, like the Jesus soul. This is a question for another day. We are going to address this question, but you need to understand your own universe before we discuss anything else. The Jesus soul created this universe. And this universe is still expanding as more souls are born every day, in a sense. We have no time, but you understand time. So I am speaking in terms of time. I was the second soul that Jesus created. The first soul that Jesus created was once incarnated as Mary Magdalene. This soul is extra special to Jesus and the Jesus soul. I am the second soul Jesus created, and I once incarnated as Pele. Pele is known as the goddess of fire and volcanoes in Hawaii. Pele was a real person on Earth in a time when people were more like gods and goddesses than they are now. Earth has been through many various versions of humans. And these versions are all very different, and yet all the same. So, I was Pele in one incarnation, but I have been incarnated many, many, many times. I was the energy that created Earth. I was full of anger then, and I incarnated into the ball of stardust that is Earth. And I sat within the core for an astronomical amount of time with my anger and I created the molten center of Earth that allows for people to incarnate on Earth. This was the result of my fury. My fury created Earth as an inhabitable planet. No, not inhabitable, habitable. The I and the H are right next to each other. As a habitable planet, is that, yes, okay. I created Earth as a habitable planet. The birth of Earth as a habitable planet was all because of my fury. I tell you this so that you may understand that emotions, and I mean all emotions, are valuable. The intent of Earth is to experience all of these emotions and still seek out the light. I sat in my fury for an astronomical amount of time, and I created something beautiful with that. I expressed these emotions in a safe way and created a molten center of this planet. I could have expressed my fury in different ways and been destructive rather than constructive. So I hope you understand and begin to respect all of your emotions and ask yourself if there is a constructive way to feel and express those emotions. Now I have a bit more to share about who I am. I was Pele, and I am so much more. I have incarnated on Earth in many powerful roles, as well as many simple and beautiful lifetimes. I have been all genders, and I have been all types of people. I am a female energy at heart. I love expressing myself in the feminine divine energy. And I also love expressing myself in the divine masculine energy. However, I am more joyful at expressing my energy in the feminine ways. There is one lifetime I had that I wish to share with you. I was a prominent person in history. As this person, I did a lot of damage and created a lot of trauma. This was a lifetime that I had planned, and all those who were involved also had planned their experiences as well. This may be hard to understand, but this horrific lifetime has given Earth a huge gift. I say horrific because people on Earth view it as horrific. However, on this side of awareness, this lifetime was a spectacular success. You see, I was Hitler. Now, I am going to explain a little bit about the gifts that this lifetime gave to Earth. At this time in Earth's history, there was a lot of darkness, and there was a lot of deepening darkness. The darkness was growing, and the souls that were incarnated on Earth had to accomplish something incredible to change the trajectory of Earth at that time. We sat around and planned this horrific experience to help turn Earth around. This war and the genocide of a gentle group of people was an eye-opening experience for people on Earth. This woke people up to understand the darkness and its far-reaching effects. The darkness I speak about is not an evil entity. The darkness I speak about is the intent on keeping yourself blind to the light. People on Earth at that time were beginning to close their eyes to the light. And in a magical way, bringing forward a horrific event such as this war is a very efficient and effective way of helping people to see the light again. When darkness, in the form of a horrific event, comes forward, it brings people to a point of reflection. This type of event is a love it or lose it event. So people understand on a deep level that they must change if they want the earth to change. After this war, the people on earth did change, and they did seek out the light more than before this war. Before this war, people were complacent to remain with their eyes closed and focus on the darkness or the lack of light. However, after this war, people began to realize that atrocious things could happen. And this opened their eyes to the light in a way that only a horrific event could. You see, Earth was on a path towards total destruction. World War II saved the Earth from that path. If World War II had not happened as it did, the Earth would be about to self-implode in a nuclear meltdown. Okay. And with that, she's done.
Okay, we're gonna have the silence thing again while we both collect our thoughts after our guest just I don't know
Blew
if
our minds.
rewrote history or
Yeah, exactly.
but
I mean,
not really.
yeah, like I do hold the belief that,
Yeah.
you know, there are no evil people, that we are all beings of light. And when someone comes in and does something atrocious, that there are reasons that we're unaware of. And it does wake people up. And yeah, so I've always held that belief. I've never, you know, hated Hitler. Do I love what happened? No, but I've
As a
always
soul,
understood.
yeah.
Yeah, just the bigger picture. And yeah, which is not something that I say a lot because it doesn't get taken in the way that
I got you.
to be taken, you know?
Yes. You have to be really drawn back and looking at the big
Yes.
picture to understand that statement. And I do.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I get it. It's okay.
But wow, like holy smokes. So let's step back before that. Like the
Yeah,
whole
because it got really heavy, right? But
Yes.
there was like just crazy stuff at the beginning that I want to talk about, obviously.
Yes.
Okay.
So the whole Jesus thing.
Jesus
So
started the whole thing.
the Jesus soul, yeah. So the Jesus soul sparked off of the void of all potential that's not energized yet. So that was interesting. That the void holds the potential of all that is, but it's not energized yet. So it's different from the home of potentials where we plan certain lives, or in the universe, it's also the home of potentials in the universe. So if you don't know what we're talking about, that was the last video. Oh no, 2 videos ago, the home of potentials.
Yes.
So CFB7. Yeah. But the void holds all the potentials that aren't energized. So that's really interesting. And so Jesus was the first spark of light off of that. And then he sparked 2 souls. And then from there, every soul sparked one other soul. But each soul has a half soul.
The creation story.
I know.
Thing is that I understand, like I've said this in other videos, I understand where our stories came from based on this. Like they're just like,
So
like,
Jesus sparked 2 souls, Adam and Eve.
right?
Oh my God.
Like it's just the whole, yeah, all kinds of it. Okay, so, but yes.
And then everything came from them. Yeah, holy smokes, eh?
And then Jesus is part of a Trinity. Okay, we talked about rushing in the last video. I know, I've started making lots of faces in these videos and sound effects because that's what's going on inside of me. I want to tell you a couple things that were happening because I want to see if it was happening with, like, just to ask if it was happening with you. Okay, we talked about rushing. I explained what rushing is. It's when, like, electricity goes through you, or some people call it goosebumps or angel
The
bumps, or anyway.
tingles, yeah.
For me, it's a rush of, I don't know, energy going through me, and it's a confirmation that something.
I think the way we first started, why we first started calling it rushing was because it's like an adrenaline rush, except it's not like, because that's what happened when you
Yes,
get an adrenaline rush, right? It just whooshes through your body, except that doesn't have that same fight or flight energy of an adrenaline rush.
yes, I got you. And it just goes.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason I'm explaining it is I've rushed in the other videos, while certain things are said and all that, but this, during the whole Trinity, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, like, well, you'll see it in the video. Like, that's why I'm going like this, folks, because it's just like, I could barely type. I was rushing so hard. Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my
But
goodness.
then
Thank you for letting me
also
know
at
that.
the end, through that whole, like, I'm kind of seeing if you can identify, maybe even people who, while they're watching it, felt this.
Yeah.
During the whole, the Hitler talking
Yeah.
stuff. Did you get hot? Okay. I'm of a certain age and I used to have hot flashes, but I don't have them anymore. Okay. So, but I was like, my hair follicles are damp. Like I just got this
Wow.
huge heat, like crazy heat while you were talking about the whole genocide, all of it. It was crazy. I almost had to stop, but I thought it was going to be weird. Take off my sweater. It was crazy. The rush of heat going through me, not a rush. This was heat that I almost couldn't stand. Okay. So, but when we were talking, when she was talking about the Trinity of Jesus, Mary Magdalene, and Pele.
I know, eh?
Do you want to explain like how Pele, for me, Pele seems like almost the beginning of you doing what you do?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. So yeah, I think it's 8 years ago now, I started working with my pendulum and the alphabet mat and channeling my angels. And it was Pele that came through first. And for years, I worked with Pele. And I did readings. I even did readings online, but years ago, like sun sign readings, readings for Cancer, Gemini, Aquarius, whatever. And I did that for a little while, for a year, I think, or so, with Pele. And we developed this incredible relationship. Oh my goodness. And she guided me through so much of what has led me to here now, and being able to have the confidence and the trust and the ability to do what I'm doing here today. Like, Pele was absolutely crucial to that unfolding for me. So we worked together. She was like my best friend. Like, oh my God. And then she left and she said, okay, my time is done with you, because she had something else that she was preparing for. Yeah. And when she left, oh my goodness, it was so sad. I went through a grieving process. I had a ceremony for her when she left. Like, I did all kinds of stuff because it was like I lost part of me, which now makes incredible amounts of sense, that we were so close. Like, we were so close.
and then other guides stepped in, right?
Yes. And
With
then
you,
then it started just being my angels. So she stepped back
unidentified sort of, yeah.
and it was just my angels. And so, yeah, but it feels like she was just, my relationship with her was so beautiful, just beautiful.
So I have a couple questions for you then.
Yep.
Well, actually, a comment first. Like, that reminds me back in the day when we were first researching spirituality. I remember reading about guide changes and how, like, sometimes your whoever's guiding you changes, and then another one steps in because of where you're going in your, now I would say, in your trajectory. But that there was grief. I remember reading that there was grief in that. Like, I don't know that if I ever went through that, or certainly didn't do so consciously, but you just described what they would have described as guide changes. So that's really interesting. I didn't think of that at the time when you were going through that. Did you feel anything when they said this is that I've been Pele? Like,
Not like you. I didn't have any rushes or tingles, but I was just like,
wondered if it was like a reunion, but you're
my
busy.
jaw was dropping. That was
Yeah.
literally as I was doing the reading. I was, yeah. And because I'm sort of in this space of receiving the message, like
Yes.
I have to,
Busy.
I'm sort of stepped aside when this comes through.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it makes it different when I'm reacting, but
Or
yeah.
I'm here just getting the message, right? As the viewer, sort of. I get it now. You're not. It's hard to react while you're trying to get the next sentence and everything too. I'm sure with the space that you're in. Okay, but also, okay, this. So, okay, there's so much information in here. So this Trinity that sparked from Jesus. So Jesus, most souls spark one other, like half soul. Jesus sparked into two that have been Mary Magdalene and Pele. Did I get that right? I'm not looking back at my notes. And it's this one that is gonna that has before been Pele that is going to that is last week's message about going to be born this year as a soul, right? And then create this bridge and everything. Because I find it really interesting that in one of those old incarnations of your YouTube channels, people searching. Pele, I don't know if you said or Pele said that they were going to be born on Earth.
Yes.
That was quite a lot of, actually, it was that there was going to be a seed created that eventually would incarnate.
Yes.
And ever cool. Like, because at the time, then, that's quite a few years ago, 5 or I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And it didn't happen right away. And I'm so chintzy with time, And then now as I get older and you get the long view of life, now I see, now they've said that this is happening this year. Anyway, that's so cool. If we stay on this potential.
Yes.
I just like the parallel in the prediction or the revelations.
Yeah, well, but like you said, then they were talking about it as a seed, and now they're
Yeah.
talking about it as a birth.
As a birth. This is so
Wild. But I'm still now a little bit confused. So they said the Jesus soul created two half souls.
yes, because most only most
Okay.
souls only
And
split
then
into two, like Bertha
soul,
and I.
each soul then creates another, and that becomes their half soul. But then wouldn't that mean that some souls are between? So okay, Jesus creates Pele and Mary Magdalene. And then
It's a big family
they
tree.
create a soul. I'm just wondering, like, who your
Just a
half
minute.
soul is.
Let's just go over to one side. So the one that it's not saying that it was only Mary Magdalene. They're saying that Jesus
Yes.
sparked these two
Yeah.
half souls, and this one at one time. So we are going to name them Mary Magdalene and
Yeah.
Pele, but it's just one of the incarnations they've had. So then the one that has incarnated as Mary Magdalene also split into two. Now it's like, and they told two friends. So then that split into two, and 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 that split into two. So it's a big family tree. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
all coming from Jesus, which is interesting. So I don't think there's ever, so what were you asking? So I don't think there's ever ones that didn't split. They just keep splitting.
No, but I'm trying to okay. So Mary Magdalene and Pele are Jesus's half souls because Jesus created them. So then if we look at Pele, because that's who we're talking to here. So if we look at Pele, then Pele creates a soul.
Oh, only one, because Jesus split into two, added two. So that there was this Trinity. Sorry.
So then
people are watching.
My question is then, so Pele creates a soul.
That's her half soul.
Yeah. So then she's half souls with them and she's half souls with Jesus. Is that how it works? we're gonna have to ask. We're gonna have to ask for clarification.
Yeah, because I figured like back in video 3 when Bertha told me that she and I were half souls. I assumed that we were like exclusive,
Yeah,
that
so
just each other's
or
half souls. But where did that come from in the first place? How did we get sparked? Yeah, I got it. And then I have a question too that I want to ask.
so maybe you're only half souls with the person above.
Well, maybe we let them, I don't
You know what I
know.
mean? So,
Yeah.
okay, so Mary Magdalene and Pele are half souls with Jesus. Then they create a soul. That soul creates a soul that's the half soul of them.
Yeah, but then
So
that,
they
but that
create a soul.
stops. Because you just said that, like, we're like, let's forget about the Trinity and move down. Okay. So if A creates B, okay, now I'm going to talk to the math teacher with A and B. But anyway, okay, so if A creates B and A and B are half souls, and then if so, you're saying that B then creates C and B and C are half souls. So now my
Yes, see?
exclusivity doesn't compute.
Exactly. See, so I don't understand. So we need
Yeah.
to get clarity on that. How the
And
heck
then
does that work?
I have something I want to ask, so I'm totally unrelated. So I'm going to throw it in case the same being wants to answer or not or whatever. I want to know what they were so angry about.
Oh, what Pele was, yeah, okay. What, yeah,
That soul
okay.
was so angry about when they sat in their anger and everything and da 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 da, da and created Earth. Because I didn't think about them having emotions. I think of the human experience like Data from Star Trek, that we're here to experience emotions, but they're saying no, they have emotions.
Well, this, yeah, certainly this one
Yeah,
did.
that was news for me. I thought that, you know how I'm always
Yeah.
wondering what your life is like when you're not incarnated, like what do you do all day? Well, you also have emotions. Interesting. Okay, so two completely separate questions.
Okay, let's see.
We're an hour in.
I know this is getting long, so I think this will be, we'll have to
Yeah,
let go after this.
I looked
Okay,
at the video.
okay, this is Pele. We are going to explain a bit more about half souls. So Jesus created Pele and Mary Magdalene, and they are Jesus's half souls. Then Pele created a soul, and that soul created a soul with a connection to that soul. They became half souls. Then each of those half souls created a soul. And each half soul created a soul. So each soul is really two souls. So really, Jesus created a soul that was a full soul because they are half souls of Jesus and not half souls of each other. Then, after that, they are half souls of each other. Okay, they want me to take a break before they answer your other question. So, because I want to see if I got this right.
Yeah, because I'm still going, what?
I know.
Can you get a whiteboard up and draw
I know,
this?
we need one.
Like, okay, what?
Okay,
Go.
so Jesus created Pele and Mary Magdalene, and they became his half souls. But that's an unusual situation.
Yes, I got that he's the only one who has two
Yeah.
halves.
Because then Pele creates a soul that then creates its half soul.
Got it. So
Like
when
it splits
create
into
the
two.
soul, they don't become like the downline. Like when you create the next soul, you don't become half souls with that. They create their own half soul. You're
Exactly.
still with.
Exactly. So the baby of Pele,
Gotcha.
offspring of Pele, splits into two essentially. It creates its own half soul. But then each of those half souls creates a soul that then splits into two and creates its own half soul.
And each of those half souls
Creates a soul.
a baby.
Yes.
It then splits into two. This reminds me of grade 8 biology, studying cell division. Okay. Okay. So you don't create your own half soul.
You
No,
do create your own half soul.
No, you don't.
You split it into two, kind of.
Yeah, you don't create. Wait. I thought I just got that you don't create your own half soul. You create an offspring that then splits into a half soul.
Well, okay, what does it say here?
Okay. Really created a soul, and that soul created a soul with a connection to that soul.
Yes, so Pele created
became
soul.
half souls.
They became half soul. They split into two, is how
No.
I'm going to think of it. Because
Pele
they created a soul.
And that soul created a soul with a connection to that soul.
Yeah. So with a connection to Pele's baby.
You're gonna watch us argue now. This happens
because Pele didn't create a half soul. Pele and Mary Magdalene didn't create their half souls because they're half souls with Jesus.
Okay, Pele created
and then
a soul.
Pele has a baby. That baby splits into two, creates a half soul with itself.
Yes.
Then each half soul has a baby that splits into two and creates a half soul of itself.
Okay.
You know what I
So
mean?
you don't create your own half soul.
Yes, you do create your own half soul. except for Mary Magdalene and Pele. They're the only ones that didn't split in two and create their own half souls. Because they're half souls with Jesus.
Created a soul, soul. They became half souls. Then each of those half souls created. Okay, I'll be pondering this later today.
Yeah, okay.
Created a soul, and each half soul created a soul, not created their own. Anyway. So each soul is really two souls. So really, Jesus created a soul that was a full soul because they are half souls of Jesus and not half souls of each other.
Exactly. See, that's what I mean.
After that, they are half souls of each other.
Pele and Mary Magdalene didn't split into and create their half souls. They created a.
He created ones that were full soul, but after that, they are half souls of each other. Okay, I had to get to that last line.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I understand that now.
As much as I can understand any of this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because I have 50 more questions now. But
and now your question was, about the anger.
And the whole half soul thing, by the way, also though, is explained in another video, right? Like just for viewers, because like we said, this is getting long. I'm not going to go into it again, but I think it was in video 3.
I have no idea.
When Bertha was saying that she was mine. Anyway, what half souls are, and they're basically one incarnated and one is usually incarnated and one is their guide.
Yeah, and they just talk about it as two sparks of the same soul, two sparks of the same energy, two sparks of the same energy, and two sides of a coin. They are different, yet one. That's how they explain it. Anyway, okay.
Okay,
so,
are we
anger
gonna ask what she was angry about?
Yeah.
No, I just want to know literally, what were you angry about that made you create the earth? Like, I'm glad you were angry about it, but
yes.
Do you want to talk about it, Pele?
This is a bit complicated. However, I will do my best to explain. There are no emotions on this side of awareness that you would relate to, as Earth's emotions are unique. So, the emotions I felt were because I had already incarnated into the experiment of Earth. Earth was a ball of stardust, and I was one of the first light energies to incarnate in this experiment. So I was one of the first light energies to experience emotion. And I was taken aback. The anger and fury that I felt at being disconnected from my love energy home was overwhelming beyond any imagination. I then wandered throughout the orbit of Earth as a ball of stardust and ended up sitting in the center of that ball of stardust with my fury and just felt it for an astronomical amount of time. This was the beginning of my energy of fire and volcanoes. Okay, and with that, she's done. So that's interesting.
I got it. So as soon as she incarnated, which isn't like not like it like
Yeah, not into a
we got
body,
another
but
part of history.
I
Sorry.
know.
Now we got evolution. Now I got so many more questions. Okay, this is I'll bet this is another series. I know there's a series emerging in these videos of the 12 homes that we humans, right, originate from, and that I call maybe seeded Earth and all that. But now there's this other whole
Yeah.
rewriting history. Okay, because I have more questions, but
Yeah.
we don't have time.
Another
But I get it
time.
now. So Pele was the first one to
One of the first.
one of the first light energies to incarnate in this experiment, like of the whole creating of Earth thing, which
Yeah.
makes sense because like they were the first things coming from source. So they were like on the first committee that decided that we're gonna have this experiment of Earth. But then she got there and it was like, I felt like, WTF, what have I done?
Exactly. Yes. Yes. And for the first
I want to
time,
go
right?
back. Like leaving home, like you're young and you leave home,
Exactly.
you want to move back, and maybe you, for some reason you can't.
For the very first time. Well, but not even remembering, because she would not have a memory necessarily. I mean, I don't know. Maybe she did have some memory of it, but definitely feeling the cutoff from that love energy, right?
So that was one of the questions that I said I have is like, when you created that, when you were the first one that created the ball of stardust, was the whole plan of the experiment of having Earth people incarnated on Earth forget their background already conceived? Because I have a feeling maybe not. That
Okay.
that Earth wasn't, but the experiment of Earth, you know how it's been done a bunch of times and all that. Like, I don't know if like that's a whole other video we're doing that. I hope there's a being of light who will join us. I'm going to pre-ask this question. So when Earth was created, like now that we have some story about how Earth was created, was it already created with that plan? Because I'm getting maybe not, like maybe Pele knew, maybe Pele got there and was disconnected from the love energy, but not the memory of it,
Yeah, I don't know.
causing the anger, right? Anyway.
I don't know, because
Oh my
they've
goodness.
described the Earth experiment as we come in on a blank slate. We come
Yes.
in not knowing who we are, not knowing our origins of light and love. And will we choose to see the light?
Okay, and
Not that we're in darkness, we're on a blank slate. We have the choice.
I get it.
Where are we going to go?
But I don't know if that was all set up when,
Yeah.
we're talking
They'll
here
tell
about,
us, like you said, in another video.
about Pele. Anyway, yeah,
But I would think if she sat in that anger, like that's part of the choice of being a blank slate. Which way are you going to go? What are you going to feel? What are you going to
yes.
create? So I would think that she didn't necessarily remember who she was.
Yeah, like she experienced one of the first angers and
Yes.
furies,
Yes.
Anyway,
Holy moly.
wow. Okay.
That's a lot to absorb.
Yes. So I'm interested to see the comments. There have been these great discussions in the comments.
Yes.
Thank you for that. For putting your thought processes even as you're processing all of this, and then questions come up, and then, or some of you are answering each other, and I love it. So I'm interested again to see in the comments what you're thinking about all this. Also, if you have questions, drop them in and we'll try to work those into future videos. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
And I hope you have a great day.
Yes. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.